Hey, this is Malika of Evanston Live TV, and we have with us today Council Member Devon Reid of the 8th Ward of all of Evanston. I don't even just like saying the 8th Ward, though I love the 8th Ward, but Devon belongs to all of us.
Hello,
Welcome,
Malika.
welcome back. I keep wanting to say Alderman, Council Member Reid. Welcome back to Evanston Live TV.
It's been a while. Hi, Malika. Hello, everyone.
Yes. So Devon, we're going to jump right into it because people are wanting to know what the heck is going on with reparations. You're on the reparations committee. We saw the article that you're requesting, and let us know if this is true or not, requesting $5 million from the general fund of the City of Evanston to be transferred to the reparations fund. First of all, is that true?
That is 100% accurate. I think it's really important, particularly in the wake of everything that we have going on in the country, and particularly what's going on in New York and Buffalo, New York. What happened recently? I think it's really important for a city like Evanston to double down in our commitment to righting historical wrongs and anti-Blackness that is rampant in both our community and in the country. And on top of what's going on nationally, there's here locally, we found nooses at Haven Middle School. I think it's really important for us to show our values and double down. And our general fund reserve is extremely healthy right now, far above our minimum standards.
Interesting. So do you think that that's a possibility? Like we thank you for putting yourself out there for the reparations movement here in Evanston. Do you think that it's possible?
I believe so. I hope that there's, I think I hope a definite. I think, our city is committed to reparations. We made a commitment to, I think most folks in the community have an expectation that we were going to raise $10 million in the first 10 years. And we are now 3 years in, 2 years in with the dispensary, and we have only been able to commit $400,000 to reparations. And so I think, just to keep pace with what the expectation in the community is, I think we need to make this disbursement, particularly when our general fund is sitting at about $35 million, which is far above our I shouldn't have said minimum standards. It's really our gold standard or a really solid standard that we have, 2 months reserves, and that for this year would be 19 million, and we have 35 million in the bank, and our CFO predicts that we'll have about 32 to 35 million in the bank at the end of the year. And so we're in a very healthy spot right now. And I think we can, more than absorb a $5 million commitment to reparations.
Okay, well, I hope it does get passed. Does it have to go through Budget and Finance Committee first? Well, one, does it have to go through the Reparations Committee to vote on that, and then the Budget, Finance, and then City Council, or how does that work?
Yeah, right now it is being referred to the Finance and Budget Committee, and I think that's fine. But I think it needs to come to council pretty soon. I don't think it needs to go through the Reparations Fund or through the Reparations Committee necessarily, just because this is more about it's not about the reparations program necessarily. It's about the health of our city's finances and making a moral determination whether or not we are ready to commit $5 million to the reparations fund. And so I would hope that the committee would say, yes, we want the money. One of the considerations that the committee had was whether to bond out for this money at about $2 million. And I don't think we need to do that. I think that gives more money to the banks. We have to pay interest on bond money. This isn't, I think we can make the commitment just straight up with our general fund reserves.
Now okay, so maybe you can explain this. So I was watching the reparations meeting. I think it was the May 5th meeting, and Councilmember Braithwaite and attorney Nick Cummings were exploring something that resembled, all I heard was loan. I was like, I know y'all ain't about to take out a loan for the reparations fund. Wait, what's like, why would we have to, why would that even be a thought?
Yeah, and that's what bonding is. Bonding out is taking a loan, and again, I think if we were in a financial position where we needed to do that in order to meet the commitment, then it would make sense. But our finances are healthy enough right now that we can make the commitment without having to burden, taxpayers even more with, the interest that would come from, this kind of loan. And not only burden taxpayers, but we also don't need to enrich the banks anymore off the reparations fund. I think, again, we have the money in reserves. We can make the direct commitment.
And Councilmember Reid, I know you can't speak for other council members or even the committee members of the reparations movement, but make me understand why they would even go to a loan. I mean, why? What would be the benefit to the city for reparations to have to take out a loan? And it will piss off a lot of residents. It'll definitely piss off some white residents who don't even agree with reparations. So it would just put reparations in a bad light if they did anything that resembled a loan that's going to help build the banks. So make me understand why even go in that direction when there's so many other, I mean, you all are brilliant and creative. So many other ways.
Let me say this. I will say that that was a staff's proposal. And I think it was a good faith proposal, looking to ensure that those folks who are seniors got money now. I think that there wasn't, I think staff saw that as actually a safer bet than going after general fund money. I think we have the general fund money. I don't think we need to take out a loan. I disagree with that policy suggestion. And yeah, I do think it is somewhat of it would be a poison pill if we did that. As you said, I think because of the very things that you mentioned, that folks, it would cause division potentially in the community to go down that route, putting a greater burden on the taxpayers, that bonding and this money out. So
okay, there's been many questions, many unanswered questions. Now, please, someone just called themselves attacking me today over whether or not we can know how much is actually in the reparations fund. And I remember from the meeting on May 5th, you had made a great point. You said, look, it's been 3 years, expenditures. I mean, at this point, shouldn't at least the people on the committee know how much is in the reparations fund? I just have to say this. For someone who's working in the city manager office to not have a response or an answer to your question, whether it's, I can't give you that information, but to sit there and scratch your head and be like, I don't recall what the amount is. That was horrifying to watch. Like, you work in the city manager's office. You should be prepared to handle a simple question like that. How much is in the reparations fund? And like you said, the residents, we've come to understand, okay, it will be a violation for them to tell us monthly what, the updates on how much this one dispensary has brought in terms of tax dollars for the reparations fund. Okay, we understand that, we get that. But yes, a lot of time has passed now. And you brought up a good point. A lot of time has passed. At least let all of the council or all of the reparations committee members know how much is in the fund. Why do only a select few people get to know what that amount is? Can you explain this to the viewers?
Yeah, but I do want to make one quick distinction. One, I want to say, I wish so the staff members, Tashik, and I really think Tashik is great, and I think she's done a great job for the city overall. What I will say is that there's a reason, and there's a slight difference. So there's what's in the reparations fund, and we know what's in the reparations fund. The city council allocates money to the reparations fund, and we've allocated $400,000. The information that is missing is how much money is the dispensary bringing in every year, because that is the primary source and really the only ongoing source of revenue for the reparations fund. And so we know how much the city council has allocated, $400,000, and that's $400,000 over the last 3 years since the existence of the fund. What we don't know is how much money is being produced on an annual basis by our dispensary and by the cannabis industry in Evanston. And so that's the key figure that we don't have. And I think even that staff person doesn't have access to that. And it's only right now the CFO, the city, and I'm kind of unsure who really has access to it right now, because the city has been in so much flux recently. But right now it should be the CFO and the city manager.
Okay. Okay, so I
And
mean,
we need answers to that. We need, as I pointed out then, as you just stated.
Devon, we lost you. Okay, we got you back. You got cut off there.
Yeah, I got a call, and I actually put my phone on silent mode now. Do not disturb. Okay.
Okay.
There we are.
So you were saying your last statement was you were saying that we at this point we should know.
we should. As you pointed out, as I was saying in the committee meeting, the committee, reparations committee, the council should have a proper accounting of how much revenue we are bringing in through our dispensary, so we can make predictions about what our commitment needs to be. Again, the community, I solidly believe, if you were to poll people who understand that we're doing reparations, that their expectation and belief is that we were going to dedicate $10 million in the first 10 years, at least $10 million. And we are nowhere near that. And at our current rate, it would take decades for us to reach that. And in order to even provide repair for our seniors, or for the survivors, the direct survivors, the ancestors, as we call them in the ordinance, that may be that $10 million mark if we want to, capture seniors who maybe want more than just the housing grant that is currently available. I think we'd have more of those, survivors and those ancestors apply if there were direct cash payments, which is something else that I'm pushing for, put a referral in to create direct cash payments as well.
Now, we like hearing that. the cash payments. When I know reparations means different things to different people, but those of us who have been reading up on those who have received reparations, so there has been somewhat of a blueprint to how this works. I know Evanston, I don't know who at the city told Robin Ruth Simmons that it had to be about housing. I'm not quite sure, but we can go all day on that. Initially, she did say cash payments, though. December 8th, 2019 on WBEZ, she said we getting cash payments, but somewhere along the line it shifted. But that's a whole nother thing. But
yeah, and I do believe that that Robin and I think everyone
initially
says, and I believe, and I think even now folks say that they support direct cash payments. I think it takes just I put in the referral, and hopefully now we'll actually have a discussion about it and go through the legislative process.
Why do you think it changed, though?
I think that folks were concerned about litigation. And I think folks were concerned about creating a program that could stand up to potential litigation. And I think now that we have a new composition of the council, a new composition of the committee, and we have folks who have a different legal lens approaching this as well, I think we're in a place where we're more comfortable moving forward. I mean, I've done quite a bit of analysis on this. I've had sorry, I got a bus going by. It's probably very loud. But I've done a lot of analysis on this. I have spoken for at quite a great length with our corporation counsel, Nick Cummings, other members of the committee such as Councilmember Burns, and really going through some of the legal theory and the legalese that will help us strengthen this program and ensure that we are addressing all of the potential angles and ready to take on hopefully mitigated threat by drafting our legislation in a way that ensures that it can stand up to legal scrutiny. And that's really what I'm laser focused on.
Well, we appreciate it. As always, Devon, you're always, really fighting for the people, and you try to work with everyone. I've been saying that, and it's got to be a real, it's got to be hard for you to juggle when you're working with a council that has those that are very money driven. They care about their constituents, but they're very corporate money driven.
Risk averse. I say risk averse.
Yes. And it's like you're trying to work with everyone, but sometimes it's like it's just never gonna mix. It's just never gonna mix. I mean, it's like NRA and people who have lost people. You have those who are very about the human nature of things, humans, and then you have those that are about business. And so it sometimes it never meets to work together. But you definitely put forth an effort to try to work with everyone, try to get an understanding on both sides. But we know your heart always leans towards the people, and we appreciate that.
My heart is with the people.
Your heart is with the people.
And I think I think most of I think all of my colleagues are in the same place as well. I think it's just different life experiences that lead people to perceive the world and perceive certain risk that we have to take as government in a different way. And I think it's through that lived experience that really has been able to keep me grounded in the work and laser focused on providing for the folks who are least proximate to power. And so that's my mission here in council. That's my mission with the Reparations Fund, to make sure that we're doing right by the folks who were harmed by the government and setting that model for the nation, that whatever group was harmed in your community, whether it was a Black community, some other European minority, or gender or religion or whatever group was harmed in your community, I think your community out there in the world, wherever they may exist, needs to examine that, and just as we've done, and try to make repair. And so that's the model that we're looking to set here, and I hope we can do right by our seniors and our survivors in the Black community.
Yes, well, thank you for serving on the Reparations Committee, because I don't think we would learn as much as we've come to learn about what's going on with the Reparations Committee if you weren't on there. I'm telling you, if you weren't on there asking the questions, it would probably go right over our head, or it would go right up under the radar, and we wouldn't know, what was happening. So we appreciate you asking those questions, so that we know what's happening, And yes, and there's so many groups that deserve the Latino community, when Trump was caging the families, like, good Lord, they deserve some reparations as well. It's just that I know other groups have received their reparations, so it would be great if more groups were in support of the Black community receiving our reparations in the form of cash payments. Because, you know, I mean, because we do have groups. I mean, they've come to me and said, you should be happy with the new windows. I've had that, like, you should just be happy. It's a great start. New windows, it's a great start. I mean, what you supposed to say to that? But yet my heart would want more for your people. What's been done to your people, I would want you to have more than that. So, but you know, that's me. That's just me. But okay, Devon, I said I wasn't going to keep you long. Thank you so much for your time. And, you know, we're staying engaged and we're watching, and we know it's not easy for you up there, but we know who your heart is with, and we appreciate you trying to work with everyone and bring everyone together so that Evanston remains this wonderful place and continues to grow and be a wonderful place, even though we have our issues.
We have our issues just like everywhere else.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Devon. Thank you.
Thank you, Malika. All right. Talk soon.
All right. Okay. This is Malika, Evanston Live TV. That was Council Member Devon Reid. You all, please be sure to stay engaged. If you want to know what's going on with reparations, you know, check out the City Reparations Meeting YouTube. You know, if you have time to sit through all the videos so that you can hear what's actually going on, please do so. I do my best to, you know, grab clips and, you know, just do my commentary of it. But, you know, stay engaged. And there's so much going on here in Evanston. So just stay engaged. You know, I know we can't care about everything that's going on in Evanston, but, you know, things that do touch your heart, your soul, you know, find out what's happening in Evanston, what they're doing with it. You know, if they need your help, your input, stay engaged, people. All right. This is Malika, Evanston Live TV.